listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. I got my man Brad Gilmore here with me as always. They call him the boat. And right now, guys, we're getting ready to float on. I want to thank everybody for stepping inside the Hall of Fame today, getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams, coming to you live from ESPN 97.5, 92.5. Guys, hey, are you ready? Are you ready? We got a whole lot to talk about, man. We got a whole lot to talk about. I want to thank everybody down there at the Golden Nugget for making me feel special over the weekend at the golf tournament, man. My man, Reggie Dixon. Big shout out, my man. Always hooking a brother up. And the suite they gave me this time, man, was perfecto. I just want to say that, man. I'm feeling good today, y'all. Brad, how you feeling, man?
Man, you must be fresh off an old man nap. Like you got all that energy right now. What's in that drink? What's in that drink right there? What's in that? Is that a mimosa? What do you got?
Just cran grape. That's all it's in.
And what?
That's it. That's it. I'm just feeling good, man. I just feel good. I got to get out of here here shortly and get on the road, man. And I'm going to be in Albany this weekend, big Hall of Fame ceremony, as well as I got to go to Orlando. Man, I'm feeling good, man. My knee is feeling a whole lot better. I figured out what was wrong with it. I had to put some ice on it. That's all I had to do. Put some ice on it. I'm back in action. I called my man. I called my man DDP. I said, Dallas, what should I do for this? He said, put some ice on it. Dallas was the king of the ice bags back in the day.
He was the first one on it, right? I've always heard that DDP was the first man on it.
DDP would be riding down the highway with 6 ice bags on his body. You know what I'm saying? Shoulders, hips, and knees. I'm serious, man. I think they made a song about it. But yeah, man, seriously, man, the brother definitely was the master of the ice bath.
He was the Iceman.
Yes,
he was the Iceman. Well, hey, look, we want to appreciate everybody watching us right now live on YouTube, or if you're listening to us on ESPN 97.5 or wherever you're hearing this podcast, whatever you're doing, we really appreciate you. We always want to know where the audience is coming from. So shout out what city you're repping in the chat so we know where you're at and we can show you and your city some love. Book, I mean, when you say there's so much to talk about, boy, is there so much to talk about. I mean, there's stuff with WWE. Johnny Wrestling is back.
Gargano is back.
He's back.
And,
we got
with a splash, too, with a big splash.
Yes, Jeff Jarrett is out. Road Dogg is in.
Road Dogg's in. Yeah.
You know, I feel like that's their whole career, right? Road Dogg was always waiting for the spotlight when he was the roadie with Jeff Jarrett. Now he got one up.
It's crazy.
It's called full circle.
Nuts, man. How did it work out, man? I never really thought about that. Actually, but hey, man, that's just the way on my flop. That's the way on my flop.
There's still some turmoil happening in AEW. There's a big UFC fight that went down. We have super chatters coming in.
Hey, man,
I mean, where do we start? Where do we start?
The action, man. Everybody, let's start with Gargano, man. Let's start with Gargano. Gargano's back.
He's back.
And the thing is, Gargano, he took a hiatus from the WWE for quite some time. I'm sure everybody thought, even myself, I thought Johnny Gargano was going to show up in AEW. Doing his thing just like all the rest of the, I would call them the radicals. You know what I mean? Back in the WCW day, I thought Gargano was going to show up in AEW and go over there and have some fun like a lot of these guys did. But he weathered the storm. He waited it out, and boom, he's back just like Karrion Kross. And me personally, something about Gargano. It's something about that dude. He has that effect to make people feel a certain way. And that's what the wrestling business really, truly is. That's why I never try to put just say, for instance, a stamp on what a wrestler should look like. Because when you can go out there and make those fans feel a certain way, boom, put the rocket on the guy. Send him straight to the moon. Johnny Wrestling is back. What do you think?
Johnny Gargano, man. You know, I was with you. I really thought because of, I guess, guys like Adam Cole, you know, leaving NXT and going over there to AEW and you know, people following in that ilk, even a Bryan Danielson, you know, I thought Johnny Gargano, his wrestling style, you know,
Kyle O'Reilly.
What the hell?
Wait a minute. What the hell is Kyle O'Reilly?
I think he's on the shelf. I think he's on the shelf with an injury.
Oh, okay.
With an injury.
I just wonder. These guys show up, man. Next thing you know, they come and they be gone like that. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, we can get into AEW later. That is a problem with AEW, but we can get to that later. But I thought he was for sure AEW bound. And whenever the change happened and Vince retired and Hunter and company took over, I thought this was just a matter of time. Given Johnny Gargano's close relationship with Triple H, I knew how highly he thought of guys like him and Ciampa. And the first Raw Triple H was over, Ciampa had a significant role. The second Raw, he was in the main event for the U.S. title. So this was not shocking to me that Gargano came back.
Did you see Ciampa's gear last night?
What about it?
The brother was dressed, man. I mean, he was straight from the seamstress. I'm serious. I mean, the Miz hooked him up. I don't know if the Miz say, "Look, bro, you got to up your game." But he came out dressed just like the Miz, same colors, same feel, same fashion. You know, just with a different flavor. And I go, yeah, Ciampa in the mix, baby. When you start going to see it, back in the day, we had Jan. When you go see Jan, oh, you moving up on the roster, baby.
Jan hooked you up. Jan hooked you up.
Oh, you got to come out off some ducats. And that's why I say, you're moving up the roster when you go see somebody like Jan. But I don't know who they got now. But Ciampa's moving up. Yeah, let's get it right, man. Let's get the man's name right, man.
I know Ciampa.
Ciampa is Ciampa, like champ.
Theater. We all say it differently. But Johnny Gargano coming back again, I thought that this was just a matter of time. Had Vince McMahon not stepped away, Johnny Gargano would have been in AEW. I truly, in my heart of hearts, believe that. But I think that his relationship with Triple H, I think Hunter had a talk with him, and you know what, Triple H, he doesn't miss with talent very often from what we've seen in the past. So I'm not saying I'm the biggest fan of Johnny Gargano or I buy into him 100%, but I'm kind of on your side of where, if you make the crowd react to you like they did last night, you're doing something right. And I'm here to sit and watch and find out what it is so I can be on that bandwagon too. So I think it's good for the show. I definitely think it's good for the show to have Johnny Gargano back.
You know what, man? I must say, man, it feels good just to say wrestler. It's crazy, right? It's stupid. It's so small.
I still like jerk whenever I hear it on WWE. I'm like, oh, they said wrestler. Oh my god.
Yeah. I'm serious, man. It's such a small little thing, but to people to just say wrestler freely, it feels good. It feels damn good. Johnny Wrestling is back, man, and back on Raw too. More specific, back on Raw, back on the big show, and the speech, the promo that Johnny Gargano cut. On Monday night. Let's just say that. Let's use terms like that.
On Monday night.
Yeah, on Monday night. It had a certain feel to it. You know, he, as a kid, he dreamed, he wished of being. You know what I mean? That right there had a certain feel to it, because I think most guys that grew up like a Johnny Gargano, wanted to be in this business, they all had that dream. They all wanted to be the Intercontinental Champion. They all wanted to be U.S. champ. They all wanted to be the world champion. And that right there for me is actually pretty cool, because there's a lot of guys out there that's still chasing that dream, man. Like a Johnny Gargano, to be the best in the world. No pun intended. Yeah. But we got to take a quick break, guys. We got to take a break. I know you got a whole lot you want to talk about. We're going to talk about it right here inside the Hall of Fame. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
Paid monetary spokesperson for Walker, Texas lawyer.
I'm six-time world champion Booker T, and I face tough competition all over the world. But when it comes to insurance companies, I tag in Walker, the Texas lawyer.
Hey, if you've been in an accident and you want me to fight for you, call me.
Now can you dig that? Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We just talking everything. And when I say everything, I mean everything. So, guys, I know you guys, got a whole lot you want to talk about. We're going to talk about it. But, Brad, anything that you wanted to cover is specific?
Yeah, there's a few things. And there's a couple things that happened on Raw on Monday night that I want to discuss. But first off, I want to give a little plug here. Coming up September, huge show going down for Reality of Wrestling. Tickets are available now, but I just want to let everybody know that they have the ability, Booker, to witness history at the Reality of Wrestling. And it's not very often that we have a first in Reality of Wrestling, because we've really done it all, right? I mean, we've had multiple person matches, you've had ladder matches, cage matches. Hell, we even had a Hendrix Havoc match one time, which was an abandoned brawl a brawl in an abandoned mall. But I just want to let everybody know, at Texas Gold Rush on September the 10th, for the first time in Reality of Wrestling history, just announced this week, we will see JP Harlow taking on Izzy James in a casket match.
Yeah, man. I don't know how things have, it's just everything, ever since I've lost control, this company is going to hell. No pun intended.
What do you think, though? What do you think about a cat? I don't know. In your illustrious career, you were in a lot of matches. I don't believe you were ever in a casket match, were you?
No.
No.
I'm claustrophobic. I would have turned that match down. But first in Reality of Wrestling, something like this, I think it's warranted. Between these two guys, it's been war. JP Harlow is a guy that I got a lot of stock invested in, and that's why I hate to see JP Harlow being put in a position like this. This is a guy that I know that can make it at that next level. Izzy James, he's another kid who I got a lot of stock in as well. So I got a heavy heart going into this matchup between these two guys, because there again, I've invested money in both of them. And to see this happen is a dereliction of duty on somebody's part.
Who's that somebody?
You know what?
Say names,
I'm
Book.
not going to even call
Say it
them
with your
names.
chest.
I'm not going to call any names or anything like that, because that's not the type of person I am to put people on Front Street. But they know who they are. They know who they are. And like I say, a rogue dereliction of duty. Let's just put it like that.
Wow. I mean, you're really throwing it out there. You're throwing it out there. Well, fans, you can come see that rogue dereliction of duty continue at the Texas.
That's what they should call it.
Well, it's going to be called Texas Gold Rush on September the 10th. First ever casket match in Reality of Wrestling history. Also, Edge Stone will be taking on the Mysterious Q for the Reality of Wrestling Championship. Yeah. You got to be there in person to see it. And I'm sure, speaking of a dereliction of duty, you officially have your manager's license for the Reality of Wrestling, and I'm sure we're going to feel the presence of the heat of Promise Braxton, perhaps.
It would be a lot going on. And Edge Stone, I must say, Edge Stone, he needs to watch his back. Okay, I'm gonna just throw it out there. I'm gonna just be straight up. Watch your back, sucker.
All right, look. From one edge to another. Let's get back into the regularly scheduled program. Talk about stuff that happened on Monday night. Edge was there, and the show came from Toronto, Canada. Toronto, Ontario, Canada, if I can say it correctly there. We had a couple of Hall of Famers in the building. A show opened, we had Trish Stratus.
Yeah.
Give us some Stratusfaction.
A girl. Yeah.
She looks phenomenal. Yeah. Like she hasn't aged a day.
Not
a day. She looked phenomenal. I mean, just so great. But she was there. And then in the main event, of course, we had Edge taking on Damian Priest. And after that match, Edge said that we normally come to Toronto around August. And this time next year, I hope to be saying goodbye with you all. A lot of people are saying that he is saying in a year's time, August 2023, we might have Edge make his official retirement, this time on his own terms. What's your reaction when you hear that? Edge has come back in 2020, I think, January 2020. He's had to take off that time. Remember, we talked to him on the show where he tore his tricep, bicep,
Yeah,
tricep,
yeah. I think it was the bicep. Yeah.
bicep. Took some time off, came back, has had a lot of great matches, and a lot of great moments. You think it's time for him in a year's time to hang it up?
Hey, bro. I was just on Raw Talk, and I
Yeah.
was talking about WrestleMania 18, Edge versus Booker T.
Mm-hmm.
That was March 2002. And Edge is still out there running, man. And Edge had been around for quite some time, before that match that I had with him. So is it time for Edge to lay it down and let it go? You got to let it go sometime. Edge is, he's doing some of his best work right now, I must say. He's like the player coach right now. He's like Russell. You know what I mean? So when I watch someone like Edge go out there and display his art, his talent, right now working with these young guys, the Judgment Day, it's cool, man. It's awesome, and hopefully he'll walk out on his own term, because the first time around he didn't get a chance to, and now he's at that point to where he's like, he may not be ready to go, but I'm sure his body is telling him, hey, man. What are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? How long we gonna push this? You know what I mean? So I get it as far as what Edge is doing. And if this is the Edge farewell tour this next year, this next 365, big ups to Edge.
Yeah, I mean, for him just to even have this run has been a blessing for his career, right? Because I remember the night that Edge made his retirement, and it kind of was like, man, that sucks. Edge is one of the, because at the time he was a world champion. He was literally on top as as you can get. Defended the world title at WrestleMania. I mean, come on now. And he had to walk away, forced to walk away, right?
Yeah.
And for him to have this run, and like you said, to go off on his own terms. Same thing with a Bryan Danielson or a Christian Cage, right? To be able to come back and finish it your way. God, that's such a blessing, and even if it's not a perfect run, if you didn't do all the things that you wanted to do, you're still making it the choice. You're still making that decision. And I think it'd be awesome for him to go out in his hometown of Toronto, Canada. Do SummerSlam there. Do a big pay-per-view. In Toronto. Canada is a great home for wrestling.
Oh man, we always do well there. So to do a big one in TO, oh man, I love, bro. I don't know if you ever been to Toronto, but
I haven't.
It's one of the nicest cities you're ever gonna go to, bro. It's for a young man. I'm just saying, for a young man, it's kind of like LA from a Cole's perspective. You know what I mean?
So you're saying there's a lot of beautiful scenery.
My God. Yes, let's just say that. It is a nice place to visit. Toronto, Canada. I always had a great time. Canada, man. The nightlife, man, the parties was always unbelievable, man. I used to know a girl, a friend of mine, she was a DJ over there. And I used to go to all of the clubs over there, man. And the nightlife was just awesome, man. Was just so cool. It just, like I say, the vibe. When you go, I met the rapper Snow. Hung out with him in Toronto, Canada, just hanging out downtown, being. And it was just awesome, man, so yeah, man, you ever get a chance, Brad, I suggest you and the lady take a trip to Toronto, Canada, get you one of them B&Bs, like you like to get, and have a good time, bro, seriously.
I'm very pro Airbnb. I would love to go to Canada. I would love to go to Canada.
Get you one of them. Hey, get you one of them B&Bs in Vancouver too, dog. If you really want to splurge, you go to Vancouver. You get the vino. A little bit of wine. It ain't got 6%. You'll be good. and have you a great time, man. Nicest place I've ever gone in Canada. Seriously.
That's where they shoot. I know in Canada now they shoot in Vancouver. That's where they shoot all the television shows. Everybody flies to Vancouver now.
Oh man, it's a beautiful place, man. It's a beautiful. That's one thing the job has afforded me, man. I went fishing for Chinook in Canada, in Vancouver, and it was such an awesome view, man. Awesome scenery. Oh man, if you don't know anything about the Chinook, go ahead and check it out. It's a fish. I think it live up, past 100 years old or something like that. That's how long they could, stay in the lake, and the longer they stay in the lake, the bigger they get. You know what I mean? We hook one in there, and it actually pulled the boat. Okay, broke the line. We didn't get it in or anything like that. But what an awesome experience, guys! I know you guys didn't know I was off into my fishing game. Oh man. You know what I mean? I got my black fishing guide I'm about to put out here real soon. Hey guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Yeah. It's going to be good. It's going to be real good. We'll be back in a minute. You worth it.
13 years, the King of Solar Screens has been an industry leader, and we proudly use 100% American-made products. Home of the $55 any size, any color solar screen.
Well, what about arches?
$55.
What about circles?
$55.
What about rectangles?
$55.
Any size, any color, installed free. The King of Solar Screens, on time, every time.
Now, can you dig that, sucker?
Can you dig it, sucker?
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Did I say the black fishing guide?
You did say that.
I meant to say the black man's fishing guide.
I was very confused.
Yeah, because we fish different.
How do black men fish differently than white men?
We use chicken for everything.
Oh my gosh, he said it.
I'm serious.
He said it.
Catch everything. I'm serious. You go deep sea fishing. You put some chicken, put chicken leg on it. See what happens. I'm serious. You go get something.
Woo, man. Hey, we were talking about Raw on Monday night.
Hey, man, big ups to my man Kevin Owens and Chad Gable. Those guys went out there and they had a hell of a match. Kevin Owens, made a appearance as far as open challenge. He made the call and said, "Hey, man, I'm gonna show up and go out here and do my thing." I love watching Kevin Owens go out and do a thing because he's just the everyman jack. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just go out and work. Yeah, I mean, I was talking about Kevin Owens on Monday night Raw Talk. And I said you could tell. So you put up a picture of Kevin Owens when he first came into NXT. And you'll see a striking difference as far as his weight loss, his face, it's gotten a lot smaller and trimmer. And I say he's not going to be a guy that's going to be an unexpected entry at the Olympia or anything like that. But the guy is in tip-top wrestling shape. And watch what Kevin Owens go out there and do and be able to manipulate his body into going out there and pulling off. Guy's extraordinary. He's talent, and I just love watching him work.
He's one of this generation's best. In all seriousness, I mean, name a thing that he is not good at in the realm of being a professional wrestler. His in-ring work off the charts, his believability off the charts, his promo ability. I mean, this guy just worked the main event of WrestleMania with Stone Cold Steve Austin,
as well as being able to go out and know what it means to entertain.
And knowing how to get himself over, but make the other guy look just as good, even in defeat. Like I came after that match with Gable. I looked at Gable differently.
Well, my thing is, I look at Kevin Owens just like, for instance, when he's doing the stuff with Ezekiel. It's not about him. It's about the story. It's about, man, I'm going to go out here and make this, whatever this is, I'm going to make it. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about Kevin Owens. I've heard guys, crap on Kevin Owens, and, just because there again, he's not the poster boy,
Sure.
But Kevin Owens is extraordinary talent. That's what he is. And I just wanted to give him his proper. I know we weren't talking about it or anything like that, but that's my guy.
I agree.
Booker T, Fave 5. Yeah, that's where he's at. He's in there.
He's in there. He's hovering around that number 1 spot, I'm sure. But no, I mean, we weren't talking about him, but he's a great person to talk about because to me, that was another guy that Triple H saw on the Indies, brought him into NXT. But tell me this, do you really remember his NXT run? You might remember a couple moments because that's all he was there for. As soon as he got in, they saw, oh, this guy's talent. First program, John Cena beats John Cena, steps on the IC title and holds that NXT title up. I mean, he's been money since day one. And I'm not shocked. I remember people are like, man, Steve Austin's going to do one more match. It's going to be with Kevin Owens. It's like, yeah. Have you watched the show? He's the perfect guy to do it. And you know what I love that he does? That I don't know why more wrestlers. Well, I love the stunner, but what he does is I don't know why more wrestlers don't do it. Is he talks crap to his opponent while he's in the ring, right? I mean, he runs him down. He makes fun of him. He talks crap, and I love that. It just, I mean, look, when two guys are playing ball in the court in a sport, a real competition, right? Do they just go out there and just shoot and not talk to each other? No, man. You're getting in each other's head. You're trying to talk your game. Michael was famous for it. I think Kevin Garnett told Carmelo Anthony one time, your wife tastes like Honey Nut Cheerios, right? I mean, like you do what you can to get in the head of the opponent, right? And that's what KO does so well, man. I don't know why more people don't do that.
Well, most people just don't know how to do it and make it look believable and real. That's an art as well. What Kevin does is everybody just can't get up off their sofa and go out there. That's why I defend Kevin Owens as being one of the guys that's on another level as far as knowing what this business is about. More than anything, he knows what the business is all about. And he knows, we were just talking about how to play his role. He knows his role, and he knows it very, very well. So big ups, big props to Kevin, as well as Chad Gable. He's another guy who's picked up the entertainment side very, very well and said, man, I'm gonna figure this out. And him and Otis are, man, they're hot, man. They're hot right now. And keep it going. Thank you.
Shush. Yeah, it's great.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's really gotten over, man. So that was definitely Raw on Monday night. Speaking of those things that happened over the weekend, we have to talk about Usman.
Oh man,
Leon Edwards.
What happened, man? What happened?
Man, I mean, Usman was there, and for 4 7/8 rounds, he fought an Usman fight. He was winning. He did everything that he needed to do. He had it in the bag. And I don't know if he took his foot off the gas pedal in the last minute or what it was, but Leon Edwards hit him with a beautiful leg kick right to the grill and knocked him clean out. And Leon Edwards, in their sequel, is now the champion of the world.
They got to do it again. They got to do it again because
of course
it was such a one-sided affair as far as that fight was going. Kamaru Usman was doing everything he wanted to do in that fight. I mean, of course, Leon Edwards took his back, early, but I don't think there was any danger or anything, the fight being called from that perspective right there or anything. But I thought Usman fought, a perfect fight other than, getting caught with a high head kick, and that's something that I don't think you could train for getting kicked in the head like that. You know what I mean? I don't think you can prepare for, the effect that you have when you do get kicked like that, because it's something that's uncommon. You're in a foreign land, so to speak. And that's exactly what happened right there. I think in the rematch, I will put my money on Usman. I know Leonette was, like he said in the press conference, he didn't fight his best fight at all. But he always fights the perfect fight. I like that right there. Even though it wasn't his best fight, it was the perfect fight. It still got him the victory. So I gotta adopt that one right there, man. But definitely he's the champ. And I talk to you about that all the time too, Brad. As far as Kamaru Usman has been, dominating. He's been a guy that's been very pretty much unstoppable for quite some time now. And having that cloak of invincibility can really put you in a zone where you can really think that you are the best fighter in the world. You can really start thinking that. But I really don't think there's a best fighter in the world. You're the best fighter until the next guy come along. That's the way I've always looked at fighters in fights, because on any given Sunday or any given night, it could be over just like that. But Kamaru Usman, as far as being pound for pound, in that division, going down the best that ever did it, I think so.
I think he'll go down in that division as the best. It does suck for him that he couldn't. Had he lasted that 55 more seconds or whatever it was, he would have broke the silver record. And now that's never gonna. I don't think anyone's ever gonna break that record and be number one. I think he tied it, if my stats are right, the 16 fight streak. But he knows now he can never beat it. It was just a minute away. I'm sure that tears him up. Because I think in the rematch he'll get the title. I'm pretty confident in that.
Yeah. I think Usman. I tell you though, you remember I always talk about when you get knocked out, you're never the same again.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's gonna be the same here, but that's something that's true. Once you get knocked out, KO'd, separated from your senses, you are never the same fighter ever again. So I'm wondering if Kamaru Usman can come back and still have that same form, knowing that I can be knocked out. That's something that he never knew before, and now he knows I can actually be knocked out. That right there is definitely got to play tricks on you. Definitely got to make you feel a certain way. I was just watching Omar Figueroa. He just came back after big fight he had a year or so ago with Ramos. Ramos stopped him in the 10th round. Omar Figueroa was, spitting up blood. Referee just had to, stop it. Coming back this weekend, step back in the ring again against this kid Lipinets, and this guy hadn't lost but 2 fights throughout his career, and then same thing happened. That happened in the last fight. Corner just had to throw in the towel. Stop it. That's the fight game, man. You could be up one day. This guy was, he said he hit the wall. I'm 32. I think my body is dead. I'm depleted. I wonder, there again, if someone like Kamaru Usman is going to be able to fight back from this, because that was a devastating loss. That was a devastating knockout right there, because Leon Edwards, I think he just threw his hands up. He didn't even attempt to do anything because he knew it was over.
Well, that's what the commentators were even saying. If you listen to Rogan and DC and John Anik, they were like, oh, hey, he's lost this fight, but he's going to finish it out. It's a moral victory for him. You went 5 rounds with the champ. And literally as they're saying that, boom, out like a light. And what a ride for Leon Edwards. Because remember, this fight was inevitable. He kept trying to get that welterweight title fight. It was going back to the pandemic. He's in London. He can't get out. Then this guy pulls out. This guy pulls out. This one gets COVID.
Okay.
He kept having that journey. So the journey to the title, it must be sweet for him.
So who's going to come out of the closet now? Who do you think going to come out of the closet?
Conor McGregor. I want Leon Edwards.
I think Kobe Covington is coming out of
the
from out of the covers. We're going to start hearing a whole lot about
Masvidal,
Chaos Covington, and Leon Edwards. That's what we're going to be hearing about next. That's the next fight. That's the next fight. What should I tell you?
We'll see.
What should I tell you about? I'm just throwing it out there. I haven't heard any talk about it or anything like that. But I do know that the UFC, Dana White, They want to get that title on Kobe Covington by any means necessary. And this may be the way. Hey, man, I know we got to take a break. We got to take a break. Stick around. You're the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
And if that wasn't enough, you took me on that vacation just to cover it all up.
You wanted to go on that vacation. You wanted to go on that vacation for years.
And you took me just to hide your antics. What kind of person does that?
What of it?
You know what? But I have the answer. Oh, yeah. We are going to choose teams and wrestle for control of this company. Team Booker versus Team Carmel.
Team Booker versus Team Carmel.
Yeah.
My team will crush your team any day.
In your
the hell
dreams.
you talking about?
In your
I got
dreams.
gas for every guy in this company. I own them. They work for me. And you know what? You know what? If you want that, if you really want that,
spit it out.
You got it.
Good.
And I tell you what, I'm gonna fire all y'all asses. All right? Soon as I win, Sam, your ass is out. Let's go, Gaspar.
I am so sorry. No one who is in charge of a company should speak like that. That's why, board, I'm so thankful I have your support.
Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. We're just chopping it up, talking a little UFC, sports, entertainment, everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Brad, are we super chat now? We still want to talk about
you
this?
know what? Still talk about what? What are we talking about? You about to say something?
No, we definitely didn't. We started on WWE, then we went to UFC. I was just wondering if we should go back to WWE and address the release of Jeff Jarrett is out and Road Dogg is in. That was a shock. I didn't see that one coming.
Yeah.
I did not see that coming at all. Jeff Jarrett just came off of a huge weekend not too long ago. You was there. Ric Flair final match, as well as he had WWE duties, and now Jeff Jarrett is no longer with the company. And Jeff Jarrett, I must say, for me, I always got along with Jeff really well. Jeff was a guy that when I first won the World Heavyweight Championship, Jeff Jarrett was there. He was the guy that had to, pass the reins over to me, which he did so graciously. That's what I want to say about Jeff Jarrett more than anything. He did that so graciously. He wasn't a guy that was thinking about his image or anything like that, or how he was going to look putting me over. I heard Jeff Jarrett talk about that night. He said, it's one of the proudest moments of his wrestling career, being the one that lost to Booker T for his first World Heavyweight Championship. That says a lot about the dude. All right. So I just want to say, hey, man, good luck on whatever you got going on after this ride, man. And hopefully I'll see you down the road.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like he just came back too, though, right? I mean, it felt like he just got back in WWE. You're right. He had this huge weekend in Nashville. Not only Ric Flair's last match, but he was the special referee in the Usos and Street Profits tag team title match at SummerSlam. And he was the executive of live events, I believe. The executive vice president of live events, something like that was in his title.
Yeah.
And he left. He's gone. And now in his place is Brian Armstrong, right? Road Dogg, Jesse James, who also, he was the one who produced the show at Ric Flair's last match. He was the main guy, the director, if you will, calling all the shots. And now he steps back in the role after maybe a 3-4 month hiatus from WWE? 6 months?
Yes,
he wasn't gone long.
Might have been 6.
6 months, yeah.
It might have been. I mean, time goes so freaking fast, I mean, we're coming up on a year almost. Big E been out.
No way. Is that true?
Yeah, I think so. I think I was reading
Wow.
something like that. Yeah.
What? That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't seem like that, does it?
Wow. I
Seem
thought
like,
we got to
seem
figure
like
out.
a couple of months, right?
Yeah. But anyway, I mean, Road Dogg's back. I'm not shocked by it again because, I was kind of more shocked that they let him go more than am I shocked they're bringing him back, right? I mean, because he's
Yeah,
always
yeah,
been
yeah. I
tight with
felt that.
Hunter.
I felt that way too. I don't. I never knew what the situation was with Road Dogg when he did leave the company. But because I always just thought, I've been in the ring with Road Dogg. I've been around Road Dogg for a long time. He knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows talent when he sees it. He's a guy that's worked at the major league level. And I always say, in order to teach a lot of these young guys, that craft, you've had to been there. And a guy like Road Dogg, he has worldly experience, not just in the wrestling ring. So definitely, I had I wondered why Road Dogg left WWE, but he's back. I'm sure him and Hunter has a great relationship, and that's probably one of the reasons he's back. And there again, the show is on the road. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing gonna stop. That's the thing about the business. One guy out, one guy in. That's the way the business roll. And it ain't. The show must go on.
It's funny because I saw the DX A&E biography, right? And I always knew that Shawn, and he's talked about it, Shawn Michaels, that is, has had his battles with substance abuse, right? I didn't know that pretty much everybody except for Triple H had their problems with substance abuse. And he was the guy driving everyone town to town. But to go from the debauchery that was DX, from going from a group of guys who were pointing at their crotch and telling people what to do with it, right? From all the antics in front of the camera and behind the scenes. It's insane that essentially DX is running the WWE. You have Road Dogg, you got Shawn, you got Hunter, all in very important positions within the company. Now Billy Gunn, he's got to leave AEW at some point.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Sooner or later.
So he can go get a job, a position, right? In the executive branch of the WWE. Sean Waltman's going to be, I don't know, the vice president of merchandise or something here very soon. Something's going to happen. DX is running the WWE, and I love it. I'm here for it. I love all those guys.
Nah, man, you're definitely right. You're definitely right about that. I can see Billy Gunn, saying, "Hey, man, it's been a hell of a run. We've had a hell of a ride," as well as his boys. You know what I mean? Gun Club. You know what? Those guys probably having a good time over in AEW right now, but I could imagine the Gun Club would love a run in WWE, NXT, or the main roster at some point. If would I be surprised? Not one bit. Not one bit. If I saw Billy Gunn show up in WWE, that's just the way the business works. And I've said that before, as far as guys going over to AEW, just like me leaving WWE, going to TNA. Boom, 3 years later, I'm back.
The new age outlaws, the Gun Club could be, right? We could call them the new age outlaws. I think you're right. I mean, look, here's the thing. There's one thing about this industry, right? Is the clique has always seemed to roll deep, right? I mean, they've always found their place in a position of prominence, and I would love to see a little reunion of D Generation X again. And I don't want it to have to be like, oh, we can get everybody but Billy. Billy's on the other team over there. We can get everybody but Billy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm sure it would be a lot easier for Billy to come back now with Hunter being the guy. So yeah, man. That friendship goes deep with those guys. So they ran down the road a lot of miles together. And you talk about Hunter being the guy that's willing to, that's behind the wheel, and is keeping everybody on track, So that's a sight right there to be seen, just to say the least. But nah, man, these guys come a long way together, and I think more importantly, those guys were there when the war was on with WCW. They knew what it took to actually stick together and say, "Hey, man, we got to fix this." I think all of those guys, in some perspective, was part of that war room, saying, "Man, we got to do this. We got to do this." At that time, I think there wasn't, I don't think there were, any other time where everybody in the company was pretty much on the same page as far as winning. Because Sean he had pretty much taken, he was on hiatus pretty much, at that time. Everybody in that company was rowing the same way at the same time to get to their destination. That's what was amazing about it.
Let me ask you something about DX. Going back to that documentary, Eric Bischoff said it was one of the biggest mistakes he made, not letting DX in the gates when they made their invasion of WCW, when they came in on the Jeeps and they were wearing the war paint and things like that. What do you remember about DX showing up at the WCW show? And should Eric Bischoff have let them in with cameras rolling?
Man, heck yeah, I think he should have let them in. I mean, what could those 4 guys do to us? What could they have done? But get the hell beat out of them. Honestly, really, seriously. We should have ran them off. It should have been some kind of confrontation. I mean, live TV, you got this right now, and you don't want to use it? You could get WWE guys on your television for free. Think about that. Just think about it. Yeah, it was a moment. He missed it. He missed that moment, and he'll never be able to get it back. And the rest is history. We look like a bunch of wusses.
You did. Y'all look terrible for that, right?
Yeah.
We can't beat the WWE guys. Don't let them in the building.
Yeah. It was a bad night. It was a bad night for us. But there again, when you're playing, checkers with somebody that's playing chess, that's what happens. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, coming to you live from ESPN 975-925. talking everything sports and entertainment and whatever you want. Whatever you want. What we got, Brad? What we got?
We do have still some super chats to get to, which we're going to cover here momentarily. But before we get there, Book, there's going to be a massive, championship battle coming up here between two number one guys of their industry, of their company in AEW. We're going to see CM Punk taking on Jon Moxley for the unified AEW World Championship. Again, we talked about CM Punk a lot last week, made some ruffles within AEW and the internet. And
what made some ruffles?
His quote unquote going into business.
CM Punk made some ruffles. I thought you were talking about me. I was like, what did I do?
You always are making ruffles.
I'm not trying to do anything, man.
What do you mean?
I'm not trying to make any ruffles.
I know you're not trying to make any ruffles, but you make them.
I'm not trying to make any ripples. Let's just say that.
You make ripples, ruffles, ridges, anything. Some people just don't like to hear the truth. You know what I mean? That's what some people don't like to hear.
Bottom line.
It's a bitter pill to swallow. You know what? And one thing that we actually didn't talk about in that AEW show, and I don't know if you have much of a comment on it because I didn't see it at the time we did our last show, but I've seen it since then. There was a bit of an odd statement made after one of the matches with Kenny Omega at the show. And, he talked about how he's not a tribute. They're not a tribute act, they being the Elite. They're not a nostalgia act.
That was after the show went off the air, yeah.
Yeah. He went on for a little while, and then he made a comparison to the audience being like his kitty cat that urinates and defecates all over his house, which was an odd comparison to say the least. Did you see this? Did you have any thought on it? Because I thought it was a little strange, and I don't know if I'm drawing connections. It seems like there might be some veiled connection between that and CM Punk. And
I heard that. I heard Jim Cornette talking about that. I didn't actually hear the comment. I was listening to Jim Cornette, and they played a clip on it, and I heard what Kenny Omega said. And it sounded like he was directing it at Punk. I mean, I think Jim Cornette actually said that on his show, that it sounded like that it was addressed to CM Punk and maybe FTR. And that's the thing, man. Just think about it for a second. Those guys are not buddies or anything like that. I don't think they're friends. I don't think CM Punk came in AEW friends with guys like Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, just because CM Punk is kind of like an alpha, he's a guy that's going to want to be, the top guy. And Young Buck's going to want to be the top guy. Kenny Omega's going to want to be the top guy. So I think, it could be some friction right there with a guy like a Kenny Omega from what it sounded like. It sounded like Kenny Omega was saying, "Hey, this is who we are, and this is why we're doing this. What are you doing it for?" That's what it sounded like to me. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. But it seemed like things are getting real in AEW as far as guys having real shoot animosities towards each other.
I remember when all the rumors were going around that Cody Rhodes was having issues backstage and not everyone was seeing eye to eye and they didn't get along. And we talked about it at the time. Actually, pause that. Go back to the formation of AEW. There was one thing that you said that stuck with me, and it wasn't a criticism of the company in any stretch of the imagination. I know that, again, sometimes this show and you in particular are labeled as a critic of All Elite Wrestling. This was not a criticism of the company. This was you, from experience, speaking on a subject matter of when they announced they had four executive vice presidents.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, the Young Bucks, and Cody Rhodes. You said almost verbatim, "I'm telling you right now, bro, that's not going to work." All right. because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. They're all the boys. They're all working on the show.
Yeah.
They're all going to see it differently, and it's going to cause friction.
Hey, man, I didn't have a fortune cookie or a crystal ball or anything. That's just the way the boys are. It's just the way this business has been since the beginning of time. I've heard about, promoters and bookers, and none of these guys, they never got along. It was, the Bill Watts era. Man, I've heard about it. So when I saw that from the beginning, I was like, oh, this is not going to work. It's going to be a problem now sooner or later. Somebody's not going to like something sooner or later. It's inevitable. It's like wrestling, it's not whether you're going to get hurt, it's when you're going to get hurt. The probabilities are too high for something like that to happen. So when I see a company like that, and I see guys like a Kenny Omega, who's, this is a guy that's in his own right. He's done very well for himself. But just say, for instance, I'm listening to Jim Cornette, and Jim Cornette making a comparison to CM Punk, star power compared to everybody else's star power in AEW. Now, and the thing is, I agree 100% because, from a circus perspective, CM Punk have worked at Cirque du Soleil. He's been in WWE. He's worked at the top level of that company, and it really doesn't get any bigger than that. And as far as the star power go, CM Punk was at the top of the card. He had a big bust. It tells you, what they thought of him, and CM Punk, I'm sure he's going to think, hell, I'm a bigger star than all these guys. I mean, that's just obvious. One would think that way. But remember what we was talking about just a couple of days ago, as far as that where the problem can come in at, because people are going to be looking at you for leadership, even though you're not one of these executives, you're the top star in the company.
Yeah. And whether you want that position of leadership or responsibility or not, it's thrust upon you. Like, you don't have a choice in the matter.
Well, it's thrust upon you because you're the oldest guy, and you're the most experienced guy, and you're the biggest star, right?
Yeah, I mean, he's on a short list of guys with experience, who've been at the top. I think the only other two people who could beat him in that realm are Chris Jericho and Sting, right?
Billy Gunn, of course.
Billy.
Experienced.
But Punk's different because he went away for all that time. So he had and when he came back, there was such a reaction. It made him even feel like a bigger star in that respect. And the Kenny promo was weird. And I look, maybe I'm looking too much into it, but it definitely seems like there's more afoot behind the scenes of I almost said reality of wrestling, of all elite wrestling, than we know. I think there's a lot going on there.
Well, as far as the turmoils go, if everybody wasn't on social media, we wouldn't be hearing about it. If everybody wasn't, always wanting to comment on something, we wouldn't be hearing about it. I know we was hearing a whole lot when, everything was rosy and everybody was getting along with each other and everything. That's why, I look at a guy like Danielson. He's a guy that he comes in and do his work and get the hell out of there. That's my perception of Bryan Danielson. I swear, that's my perception of him. Man, I'm not in nobody's clique. Ain't got time to be hanging out with nobody. I'm coming to work and get my work done and get the hell. That's the way I see. It's the only way you can make it in a company, with so much going on like that as well. So, a lot of people can take advice from Bryan Danielson.
Yeah, look to him, for example, right? I mean, I think that, look, again, and you mentioned it before, like, let's go back to WCW when Nash and Hall, right, had the ear of Bischoff, right? I mean, they were able to kind of control how things went, and in Hogan, right, they were able to kind of control how things went. Hey, brother, it'd be that's a great main event, but it'd be better if we were in the main event.
Bro, I came to the show one day. Macho Man Savage was running the show. Okay, he was in the NWA at the time. Next week I came, Kevin Nash was running the show. So, yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah.
They had to. How the hell are they running the show?
It's hard for here's the thing. Look at the history of wrestling. There has to be a boss where the buck stops, right? And that boss hopefully is not an active performer on the roster.
Yeah.
Because if he is, he's getting the title. And he's going to be in all the main events, right?
Yeah.
So Tony Khan is in a very actually fortunate position, I think. He has the ability to turn all of this around and say, look, all this pettiness, all this Twitter talk, all this locker room antics and turmoil is all stops now. I'm the boss. You answer to me. I don't know why you're laughing at that.
Because I want to see that damn meeting. That's why I'm laughing about it. I want to see this meeting.
But look, I want AEW to succeed.
Everything goes down just like you just said. We got to take a break, man. We got to take a break.
We'll take more.
Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
What's going on? It's WWE superstar Apollo Crews here. I just want to talk for a minute about what the Indies meant to me. Traveled up and down the road for a long time, and they meant so much to me. It was a huge part of getting me to where I am today, and that is a part of the WWE. I actually did some work with Booker in Houston, drove from Atlanta. Those drives, I feel like those drives that we take, 14-hour drives, those type of things develop some kind of character in you that you can't find anywhere else. The Indies mean a lot to me. Got to travel to Japan, Europe, UK, toured all over, and for me, it was just a huge part of helping me become the superstar that I am today. So I'm very grateful that I got to experience the Indies, and that's it for me.
What's up, this Booker T, two-time Hall of Famer. I know you're checking out The Shine, checking out The Gloss. I want to thank you guys for checking out Row on YouTube. Hey, don't forget to click and subscribe to check out all the latest content right here each and every week. Now, can you dig that, sucker? Can you dig it, sucker?
You're listening to the Hall of Fame. Here's Booker T and Brad Gilmore.
What's up, guys? Booker T, six-time world champ, two-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, man. And we just chopping it up, man, talking everything sports and entertainment. I know we got a lot of super chats, and I think we need to get to them, Brad.
Let's get to them. I think is this our go home segment? I don't know. We might have one more. Let's go up to the top here. We have a bunch of super chats. Thank you all for super chatting in. This comes from Jarrett 105. Booker, was there uncertainty when Vince bought WCW?
Heck yeah, man. It was uncertainty, man. I remember having a conversation with Scott Steiner. Me and Scotty, we was in the locker room. We was just talking. And Scott said, man, what do you think's going to happen, man? What do you think's going to happen? This Scott Steiner, you know what I mean? Michigan boy. A real stud. This is Scott Steiner. He goes, what do you think they're going to do, man? You think they're going to hire us? I go, Scott, they got to hire us. You know what I mean? So I was real confident that I was going to get hired, but it was a lot of people in that company knew that was perhaps the last time that they were going to work in the wrestling business at that level. And I saw tears. I saw a lot of people drinking. It was a sad night. It really, really was a sad night when WWF bought WCW. A lot of people were scared.
All right. Well, we appreciate that. Jarhead. Cali Toenail says, it don't pay to be nice, BT. You walked into Row full of energy and you got right out, apologized, and got the boot for it. Why the queen acting like that?
See what I'm saying? That's exactly what I'm talking about. No leadership. No leadership. That's the problem with having someone like, Sharmell running the company now. But the thing is, it's all fine and dandy. What I cannot be a part of, I would destroy it. Okay? I just want everybody to know that because I built reality of wrestling with these two hands right here. Built it from nothing but rubble to what it is now. and Sharmell thinks she can waltz in and take it away from me. You know what I mean? It ain't gonna happen. And trust me, this story is to be continued. All right.
We'll see what happens because Jarhead says books in the doghouse.
No, I'm not in the doghouse. It is my house. Okay. It's my house. I built it. You know what I mean? So Sharmell's gonna get, let's just say, a piece of the action, her champagne wishes, her caviar dreams before it's all over. And Devin, I'm going to cook some lobster as soon as I finish up right here. Because like I say, it's my house. It's my kitchen.
Very well. Ezekiel Miller, favorite wrestling moment that doesn't involve you?
Man, favorite wrestling moment that doesn't involve me. Man, that's a really, really tough one, man. Of course, outside of Steamboat Savage, WrestleMania 3, that would probably be my most thrilling moment as a fan watching pro wrestling. Steamboat Savage was, poetry in motion. That was like some of the highest form of art with those two at WrestleMania 3. And I tell any young wrestler that's getting into this business, go back and watch it. And if you don't feel something when you watch that match, you're in the wrong business.
I'm trying to think of, is there a moment that's not a match though? Like, is there a time where somebody, I don't know, Jake the Snake put the snake on somebody, or there's a great Flair promo? Is there like a moment more than a match that sticks out to you in your mind in your 30 plus years of being around this and watching?
I was there when the Shockmaster came out.
There we go. It involves you, but not really.
I was there. I was on the set. I was right in the middle of it, and I was like, well, how the hell did I end up being a part of this? Yeah, that was a moment that will go down in history as far as wrestling goes.
There were so many things wrong with it. Like, just so many things.
Yeah. The thing is, everything was wrong with it.
And like literally everything was bad. From the idea of the voice, the helmet, the entrance, the pyro, everything. Everything was bad.
I think that was Bill Watts.
Known for the great idea. Cowboy Bill Watts.
Yeah.
John Armstrong says fighters are great as long as they retire undefeated. I don't know if I agree with that statement.
I don't agree with that. I mean, it's hard to retire an undefeated fighter. It's so hard. That's why you've only seen a couple. Okay, Marciano, Floyd, and the only reason Marciano retired undefeated, he got out early enough to where nobody beat him. But that's just that's the fight game. You're gonna win some. Muhammad Ali wouldn't have, wouldn't have been great if he'd just fought to, it got out before he lost the fight. He would have got out way before his best years, his best fights or his biggest moments would have happened. So nah, man, the fighter is a different animal, and I don't think it's about the O in the fight game.
No. So long as the loss record isn't more than the win column, I think you're doing pretty good as a professional fighter. And very few, like you said, Floyd's probably the greatest example, just because he did fight everybody, whether he fought him early or late. He did fight everybody, and he got to that 50-0. And I think he was only ever in trouble in a fight once or twice. He really always brought it. I mean, he lost at an amateur level, but still, like, that professional record is pretty incredible. I don't think we'll ever see something like that in the near future.
No, I don't think we'll see 50-0 for fighters these days. Just like, say, for instance, Julio Cesar Chavez. Man, Julio Cesar Chavez, he could have retired undefeated because I don't think he lost his first fight till he was like 70-0 or something like that. I'm serious. I think he finished fighting at 100 and something to whatever. That's how many fights the dude had. So guy like that, it's hard to compare, how great Floyd is to just say, for instance, Julio Cesar Chavez, because Julio Cesar Chavez, he was great. I don't think you could say any fighter I thought was, as great as Julio. So, yeah, man.
Julio Cesar Chavez retired with a record of 107 wins, 6 losses, and 2 draws.
See what I'm saying?
Woo!
That's what I'm talking about. You feel me? You feel me? That's so. How can it's hard to judge one's greatness. You know what I mean? Just because he lost a fight doesn't make him less great.
No,
you can't look at it that way.
The Speezy 99 says, when is Booker getting back on WWE commentary? Look at his eyes. Look at his eyes.
Hey man, I don't know. I don't know when I'm going to get back on WWE commentary, because my thing is I'm not looking to scratch an itch or anything. I got so many projects going on right now, but if they call me, I'll fill in for someone. I would love to be the fill-in guy. Show up, every now and then, but not do it like every week where you guys could get used to me. You know what I mean? Bring me in, just to spice things up, when things are getting dry. Let me be that guy opposed to being there on a weekly basis, because when I come in on a weekly basis, I'm gonna tick somebody off. Somebody's gonna then everything y'all might turn on me. I don't want anybody.
That's what happens, right?
Exactly. I don't want anybody to turn on me right now. Everything's good. I'm gonna try to keep it that way.
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your stints on commentary. In the first month you're on, God, Booker's the greatest ever. He's the best ever.
Yeah.
God, it's so great to have Booker. Second month in, he's the worst thing ever. Get this man off my television. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Then you go away.
And then they want me back.
And then when you come back, get Booker back on.
We gotta get him back, man. So I'm gonna stay, like I said, let me be the wingman. Okay?
That's a good idea.
Let me be the wingman. Bring me in every now and then, Hunter. And I'll get the job done for you. How about that?
I like it. King Raul says, is it time for a big faction in WWE? Love y'all.
Man, it's time for a big faction in WWE. I don't know. Right now we got Judgment Day, and I think we can add a few more people to Judgment Day. I saw Chad Gable say they're going to be taking new members, new students. I like the way that sounded. That was pretty cool. But I don't know. Do we need a big faction in WWE? I don't know. Maybe. Just according to who it is. You know what I mean? If it is going to be a faction, just say, for instance, when they tried to create the what's the group?
Retribution?
Retribution, of course, that's it. I could think of it because it was here today and gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to create a faction like that with a bunch of guys who are trying to get their feet wet, that you're just trying to get on the show, who really hadn't gotten that crowd backing yet. So it's going to have to be somebody that that's been around there for a minute to create something like that. I think the faction, the clique, and all those guys, all those guys were well known. Everybody knew them. When DX, was put together, it was well known. Everybody knew him. So I think if it is a faction, it's going to have to be somebody that the people know. It may not be people that's actually in WWE right now. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah. Retribution really sucked, didn't it?
Well, like I say, man, it was a lot of guys. I know we got to take a break. It was a lot of guys that they were trying to get on the show that really didn't have any footing anywhere just yet. It's hard, man. That's got to be hard. You got to put yourself in that situation. A lot of people didn't understand that. Me personally, I get it. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. Be back in a minute. You worth it.
For 13 years, the King of Solar Screens has been an industry leader, and we proudly use 100% American-made products. Home of the $55 any size, any color solar screen.
Well, what about arches?
$55.
What about circles?
$55.
What about rectangles?
$55.
Any size, any color, installed free. The King of Solar Screens, on time, every time.
Now, can you dig that? sucker. Can you dig it, sucker?
All right, looks like Booker T. It looks like his internet may have dropped out here. We're going to get him back. We're going to take a quick break here and see if we can get the 5-time champ back. We're going to answer all your Super Chat questions. Just give us one moment here. Give us about 60 seconds, and we will get the 5-time WCW champion back on the show. Wait, there he is. There he is. Never mind. There he is.
I'm back.
He's back.
A little technical difficulty there. I don't know what happened, man. But I'm back. We still got any more Super Chatters.
We do. Boat. Kai Toenail says, Boat, you were supposed to be unbiased on commentary. Why is that? I think the best commentating ever was Bobby Heenan's style. He used to lay in on people. Well, I'm the play-by-play. I call it down the middle. Call it like I see it, Callie Toenail.
Spice it up is what Callie says. Spice it up, Brad.
If he wants to spice it, we can get spicy.
Spice it up a little bit is what Callie said. All right?
Callie, for you, next taping.
Give him some action. All right. Give me a little action. Don't be so just boring and dry. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Bring a little noise.
I remember you said that. All right. I remember you said that. Don't turn the boat. Don't turn them on leash. You know what I mean? I'll get into that deep water if you want me to, BT.
I'm just saying, man. I'm just giving you a little advice here.
All right. Luis Me says, do you think they should bring back the Cruiserweight title on the main roster? They did an amazing job in NXT.
What was that, the Cruiserweight Championship?
Yeah.
You know what, man? I wouldn't be opposed to it, just because it's a lot of small guys that could benefit from being the Cruiserweight champion. Not saying that can't, they can't be a, Intercontinental champion or, a U.S. champ or, even a heavyweight champ. But because I look at someone like Rey Mysterio who parlayed that, but you got to be special. You got to be special. But I think for guys who are hovering and, they're good enough to actually have a title around their waist, but they're, 180 pounds, and they just can't get any bigger, but their talent, you know what I mean? They're just as good as anybody else on the roster. I think it would benefit, some of those guys. Yeah, I think they should bring it back.
Yeah, so long as they get rid of a couple other ones. I'm still on that. There's too many titles out there. I think the Cruiserweight title actually holds a really good purpose. It has a good purpose to it.
Well,
I agree with everything that you said.
I say that because in WCW, the Cruiserweight Championship meant something.
Mm-hmm.
And it meant something to all of those guys who were fighting for it, championship gold. And to get that Cruiserweight Championship around their waist, it meant something. So that's why I say it. It's not like the 24/7 championship or anything like that. It is a legitimate championship where guys that has an abundance of talent get a chance to go out there and display it, but get rewarded at the same time with the title around their waist, saying that they're the best cruiserweight in that division.
Yeah, I think that if you want to swap out the 24/7 title for the Cruiserweight title, be my guest. I mean, that thing needs to go meow.
I ain't talking about swap because the 24/7 championship, anybody can get it. You know what I mean? So it's on its own island. That's an entertainment purposes championship, and somebody may be entertained by it. So we might be selling a lot of 24/7 championships in merch. I don't know what
I agree, but just from a aesthetic perspective,
I'm just saying. I'm looking at it from a business perspective, Brad.
But can they make the title?
I can't look at it like you.
All I was going to say is this: can they make the title a little bit prettier looking?
And maybe
that title sucks.
Maybe that's part of the allure.
A bad looking title. And can I actually ask for some other thing just as a fan? Not that it matters, I guess, a ton, but I'm kind of over the silver championships. You know what I mean? I'm over it. The tag titles are silver. The Cruiserweight title was silver. I'm over the silver titles. I'll bring back gold. I don't mind if it's gold with some color on it, like the U.S. title.
Hey, man, you getting way too deep in the weeds.
I'm not getting deep in the weeds.
I'm just saying because I ain't thinking about the silver title or not.
But let me ask you a question.
Yeah, look here. I'm going to tell you right now. whether this title is silver or whether it's gold. When I go through the airport, TSA gonna have the same reaction.
Maybe. Or maybe they'd be like, oh, this is a really pretty replica.
Oh, they're gonna have the same reaction. Trust me, they're gonna have the same reaction. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It really doesn't.
Look, but we want the silver. Doesn't sound as good as we want the gold, right? 10 pounds of silver isn't worth as much as 10 pounds of gold.
Well, you might be right there. You might be right.
Thank you.
Might be platinum.
Let's call it platinum.
Yeah.
Let's call it platinum. Well, those are our super chats that we have so far. If you have any other questions for Booker T, we have about a minute left of the show today, so get them in. BT, I know you got to fly off. I just want to let everybody know again, September 10th, Reality of Wrestling, Texas Gold Rush, the first ever casket match will be going down. So if you're in the greater Houston area, make sure you buy tickets on realitywrestling.com. I just had to get that in there for the people. For the people.
Yeah, get it in for the people, man. It's all about the people. Reality. I mean, it's at the Hall of Fame.
Last question.
Reality Wrestling too. Yeah.
Last question for you. I want your prediction. Jon Moxley, CM Punk, who's walking out the unified AEW World Champion?
Well, I don't know. I'm going to put my money on Moxley. Okay. I'm going to put my money on Moxley because just reading the tea leaves, CM Punk is not even clear to be in the ring. It should just be a passing of the title, something like that. But I don't know. But I'm thinking Moxley is going to win this match.
Okay,
and
real quick.
And the thing is, he should go straight to the ankle if he was smart.
Put him in the ankle lock. Do what you got to do.
Let's tap him out and get him up out of here.
Grapevine that leg. Get him the hell out of here.
Yeah,
King J. Sean says it's great to meet you at Dallas WonderCon. He agrees with Brad. He misses the WrestleCon. Excuse me. I miss the Crumb Rind title myself. I'm not sure what that is. Do you currently have any of your ring used belts on display?
No, I don't. I didn't take any belts home with me from my title runs, man. I had 35 titles, man. This whole room before. If I brought those titles home, man. But nah, man. The belt did not mean nearly as much as the title. The title meaning the World Heavyweight Champion. That right there meant so much more to me than the actual physical belt. I don't know why, and I always talk about that. The title. It's like being president. It means so much more than just the regular norm. In which the title of heavyweight champion, that means that you are the top dog in the business. So hey, that's the way I looked at it. See, we got
and last one for the day is Jarhead 105 said, did you meet with JR and Bruce in Atlanta in 2001?
No, I didn't. I don't think I met Bruce Pritchard till I came to WWE, if I'm not mistaken. I knew he had worked with Paul Bosch back in the day, but I don't think I met Bruce till he got me an upgrade, at the airport back in the day. The first class, and I was like, man, this guy cool. But I was like, man, I got to keep my eye on this guy. You know what I mean? I got to keep him real close to the body. Don't trust him. You know what I mean? But nah, he was a good dude. Turned out to be one of my best friends.
Awesome. Well, hey, that is the show for the day, Book. You can send them on home. We appreciate all the super chats.
Hey, man, I want to thank everybody for hanging out inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. It's always like this on a regular, man. I love you guys, man. Appreciate you, Brad, as always. I got to get ready to go cook this lemon based lobster. I wish you guys could have a little taste of it. It's good. I'll post it on YouTube. But right now, peace. We out.